Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're really getting into the weeds on the 2026 Toyota Prius. We've pulled everything straight from Toyota's own sources, their newsroom, product info, detailed specs, the works.
Right.
And our goal here, basically, to cut through all the noise, find the key insights, and give you a real shortcut to understanding what's happening with this, well, iconic car.
And it's a good set of sources this time. Very granular, Lets it get beyond just the headlines.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can really look at what's actually new, what they tweaked, and what really matters for this 26 model year.
Okay, so let's dig in. One thing, honestly, it jumped right out at me from the materials, and it wasn't even a tech spec.
Oh, yeah. What was that?
The Prius is celebrating 25 years in the U.S., a quarter century.
Wow, yeah. 25 years.
That just feels significant, doesn't it? More than just a number. What does that milestone really signify to you for the Prius and maybe for hybrids overall?
That's a really great place to start, actually, because that 25 years, it's not just staying power. It says a lot about Toyota's long game with hybrids.
Right, their commitment.
Exactly. Well, a lot of the industry made hard pivots to full EVs. The Prius just keeps evolving incrementally. And this 2026 model looks like part of that continuous refinement. It shows a deliberate strategy perfecting what works instead of maybe chasing every shiny new object.
Yeah.
It really cements the Prius as this practical benchmark.
That's a great way to frame it.
Yeah.
Okay, so with that history in mind, let's zoom right into the core stuff for 2026, the specs.
Let's do it.
This info, by the way, was published June 16th, 2025. So for 2026, we're looking at 4 twins. LE, XLE, Nightshade, interesting addition there, and Limited.
Yep, the usual suspects plus Nightshade.
So what's the heart of these things? What's powering them?
Okay, so the core is Toyota's 5th generation hybrid system. We call it THS5.
THS5, okay.
And that's paired up with a 2.0-liter, 4-cylinder DOHC engine. Pretty standard engine, but the key is that THS5 system.
What does that 5th generation really mean, though? Is it just better numbers, or...?
Well, it's more than just numbers, I think. It signals Toyota getting really, really good at integrating the electric and gas power.
Yeah.
More refined, maybe a bit more punch. Definitely aiming for that seamless feel.
Seamless is a good word for it.
Yeah, trying to give you that smooth, almost EV-like pull, but, without worrying about where the next charger is. Maximizing both the responsiveness and the fuel economy.
Okay, and speaking of punch, the performance figures are interesting. The front-wheel drive models, FWD, they're putting out 194 net combined horsepower.
Right.
But then the all-wheel drive, the electronic on-demand AWD, gets a little bump to 196 horsepower.
Heavy bump, yeah.
So what does that feel like on the road? Is that 2 horsepower difference even noticeable, or is net combined horsepower telling a different story?
Good question. So net combined just means the total output you get when the gas engine and the electric motor or motors are working together.
Yeah.
That little extra bit on the AWD usually comes from the electric motor they add to drive the rear wheels. It's not huge, no. You probably won't feel 2 horsepower.
Right.
But what you might feel, especially with THS5, is just more confidence. Maybe a bit quicker off the line, better traction, obviously, with AWD, smoother merging. It's less about raw speed and more about accessible power, delivered smoothly. What did you think when you saw nearly 200 horsepower for a Prius?
Yeah, it definitely caught my eye. It feels like Toyota's acknowledging that, hey, efficiency is key, but people still want some decent get up and go, right?
Exactly. They're not just leaning on the MPG numbers anymore.
Which brings us to those MPG numbers, the Prius calling card. How do they stack up for 2026, especially with that added horsepower?
Okay, so the figures are manufacturer estimated, keep that in mind.
Always, yeah.
But for the FWD, they're estimating up to 57 MPG combined.
57! That's still pretty amazing.
It is. And for the ADWD models, it's 54 MPG combined.
Still really strong for AWD.
Absolutely. These figures are significant. They keep the Prius right up there. Now, you could argue, is 57 MPG the absolute king in 2026 with all the other hybrids out there? Maybe the gap isn't as huge as it once was.
Interesting point.
But it still highlights the Prius as this super practical choice, right? It's efficient, refined, doesn't require plugging in. It hits a sweet spot for a lot of drivers. Great running costs, lower impact. That's still a powerful combination.
Definitely. And, the sources didn't just give us numbers. They had a lot of visuals, too.
Oh, yeah? Like what?
We saw the Limited trim in Reservoir Blue and Windchill Pearl, those nice metallic colors. The XLE in Supersonic Red, specific shots of the engine, the moonroof, and that Nightshade trim we mentioned.
Nightshade. Blacked out details, I assume.
Exactly. what do all those visual details, the specific colors, the close-ups tell you about where Toyota's going with the Prius design?
Well, it shows they're paying attention to the details, doesn't it? It's not just about the hybrid system, including specific color names like Reservoir Blue, showing off the moonroof.
Yeah.
It underscores the design effort.
Right. It's not purely utilitarian anymore.
Not at all. And that Nightshade trim is particularly telling, I think. It signals they're trying to broaden the appeal, maybe reach buyers who want something a bit sportier, a bit more stylish, who might have skipped the Prius before. It suggests more focus on aesthetics and maybe a slightly younger demographic.
That makes sense. And broadening out even further, the sources position the Prius, interestingly, within Toyota's whole lineup.
How so?
It's listed under cars and minivans, naturally, but also explicitly under electrified vehicles, sitting there alongside their trucks, crossovers, even those sports cars like the GR86. And they also list the previous model years 25, 24, 23, 22, and mention the 2026 Prius plug-in hybrids separately. What does that whole picture tell you about Toyota's bigger strategy?
Seeing it listed like that, with its recent history in the plug-in version, it really anchors the Prius as a core part of their strategy, not some niche experiment.
Yeah, it's established.
Very established.
Yeah.
And placing it under electrified, alongside everything else, shows their approach. Offer a whole spectrum. You want a hybrid? Got it. Plug-in? Got that too. Full EV. They're doing that as well. They're not putting all their eggs in one basket. The Prius is a key piece of that diverse powertrain puzzle.
Okay, so wrapping up this deep dive then, it feels like the 2026 Toyota Prius is really about refinement, building on that incredible 25-year legacy, balancing the performance boost with that signature efficiency, and maybe adding a bit more style into the mix.
I think that's spot on. The specs we looked at, the history, well points to a really thoughtful evolution, continuous improvement. They know they have a good thing, and they're making it better step by step.
So here's something to think about then. As the Prius hits this 25-year mark, keeps evolving with things like DHS5, more horsepower, what does this ongoing refinement of a hybrid pioneer tell us really about the bigger picture, about the future of different kinds of powertrains, and maybe Toyota's specific plan for navigating what people want next?